Theme parks are designed as realms of fantasy and escape, places where thrills are engineered, and safety is paramount. Millions entrust their well-being to complex machinery and sophisticated control systems designed to deliver excitement within carefully managed boundaries. But on June 2nd, 2015, at Alton Towers, one of the UK's largest and most popular theme parks, that boundary was catastrophically breached. On the park's flagship, multi-million-pound roller coaster, the Smiler, a loaded passenger train collided with an empty stalled test train, resulting in devastating, life-changing injuries and raising profound questions about theme park safety protocols in the modern era. The Smiler, opened in 2013, was heavily marketed as a world first, boasting a record-breaking 14 inversions. Built by renowned German manufacturer Gerstlauer, it was a complex steel coaster featuring multiple trains, intricate block section safety systems designed to prevent collisions, and a theme centered around psychological manipulation and forced smiling. It quickly became one of Alton Towers' star attractions, drawing large crowds eager to experience its unique intensity. The ride operated using a standard block system. The track is divided into sections, and safety computers ensure only one train occupies a block at any given time, preventing collisions by halting following trains if a block ahead is occupied. On the morning of June 2nd, 2015, the Smiler experienced technical difficulties, reportedly related to its complex sensor system. This led to delays and downtime earlier in the day, a relatively common occurrence for sophisticated rides. Around lunchtime, operations resumed, but the ride continued to experience intermittent issues. Standard procedure when encountering faults often involves sending empty test trains around the circuit to ensure the system is functioning correctly before allowing passengers back on. It was during one such phase that the critical prelude to the disaster occurred. An empty test train was dispatched but failed to clear one of the ride's elements, the batwing inversion, coming to a halt in the middle of a block section, hidden from the direct view of the main operator's booth. Crucially, the ride's safety system detected the stalled train and, operating as designed, halted the next train, loaded with 16 passengers, on the preceding lift hill before it could enter the occupied block. This is precisely what the automated safety system is intended to do. However, what followed was a sequence of events driven by human decisions, communication issues, and potentially pressure to keep the high-capacity ride operational. Engineers were called to investigate the stoppage, believing the system halt was potentially due to a sensor error rather than a physical obstruction, as had occurred earlier. And lacking a clear line of sight to the stalled carriage deep within the coaster's structure, discussions began about overriding the safety lock. Ride operators and engineers consulted manuals and procedures. Reports later indicated uncertainty regarding the exact position of all trains on the track and potentially conflicting information from the ride's control system display. There was a perception, tragically mistaken, that the block section ahead was clear. Standard operating procedures typically require staff to physically walk the track to confirm sections are clear before overriding a safety lockout. But due to access difficulties and the location of the stalled train, this was not adequately performed. The decision was made to manually override the computer-controlled block system that was holding the passenger-filled train on the lift hill. At approximately 1:51 p.m, the override was engaged. The train carrying 16 passengers was released from the lift hill and began its gravity-driven journey through the coaster's elements. Accelerating rapidly, it navigated loops and corkscrews before hurtling towards the batwing section. There, hidden from view until the last moment, remained the stationary, empty test train. With no way to stop, the loaded train slammed into the back of the stalled carriage with enormous force. The impact speed was later estimated to be around 20 to 25 miles per hour. But given the rigid steel structures involved, the deceleration was instantaneous and brutal. The scene was one of immediate horror. The front rows of the passenger train bore the brunt of the collision, crumpling against the stationary carriage. Riders were trapped, suspended approximately 25 feet above the ground at a precarious angle within the mangled wreckage. Emergency services were called immediately, but the location and nature of the incident presented enormous challenges. Firefighters, paramedics, and specialist rope rescue teams faced a complex and delicate operation to reach the victims, stabilize the structure, and carefully extricate them from the crushed metal. The rescue effort took over 4 hours, with personnel working meticulously in a confined and dangerous space to free the trapped riders, many of whom had suffered catastrophic lower limb injuries. 4 people in the front rows sustained the most severe injuries, including 2 young women, Vicky Balk and Leah Washington, who each ultimately required leg amputations. Others suffered serious fractures, internal injuries, and deep psychological trauma. The sheer violence of the impact inflicted life-altering consequences on those most exposed. The incident shocked the public and sent ripples through the global theme park industry. Alton Towers, owned by Merlin Entertainments, closed the park immediately following the crash, and the Smiler remained shut for the duration of a lengthy investigation. The UK's Health and Safety Executive launched a comprehensive investigation into the crash. Their findings, released later, painted a stark picture of systemic failures. While the initial stall of the empty test train was a technical issue, the collision itself was attributed directly to human error, stemming from a failure to follow established safety protocols. The investigation highlighted inadequate communication between staff members, unclear procedures for dealing with block system failures on that specific ride, a lack of understanding regarding the limitations of the control system's displays, and insufficient training on fault detection and manual overrides. It also noted potential underlying pressures related to minimising downtime on a major attraction. The HSE concluded that the park's operators were ultimately responsible for the failures that led to the override decision. In September 2016, Merlin Entertainments pleaded guilty to breaches of the Health and Safety at Work Act. The judge presiding over the case described the incident as a catastrophic failure by the company, noting that they had fallen far short of the required safety standards. The company was subsequently fined £5 million, one of the largest fines of its kind in the UK, acknowledging their responsibility for the failures that led to the disaster. Significant changes were implemented across Alton Towers and other Merlin parks regarding ride safety procedures, staff training, and protocols for managing ride stoppages and safety system overrides. The Smiler eventually reopened in March 2016, nearly 9 months after the crash, fitted with enhanced safety features and operating under revised procedures. However, the incident left an indelible mark. For the victims, the physical and psychological recovery continues, a permanent reminder of the moment terror replaced thrill. For the theme park industry, it served as a chilling wake-up call about the critical interplay between increasingly complex automated safety systems and the human element responsible for their operation and oversight. The Smiler crash demonstrated that even in environments meticulously designed for safe entertainment, catastrophic failure remains possible when procedures break down and human judgment falters under pressure. It remains a disturbing case study in the potential consequences of neglecting safety protocols in the pursuit of uninterrupted thrills.